Welcome, subscribers. Welcome, new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. My name is Reverend Penelope. I run the chemistry channel. I'm a metaphysical practitioner, a shaman, intuitive reader, Reiki practitioner, and author. Thank you for being here today. You guys mentioned in the last live that you wanted to see more book reviews, and I am happy to go over a book with you called Advanced Planetary Magic because I'm doing a lot of work in astrology. And so we're going to dive in this book. I'm going to give a quick little book review on this book. You should be able to find this book online. I'll try to leave a link for you here so you can take a look at the book yourself. But I thought this book has some really helpful information. And I'm going to show you what I thought was helpful. And then we'll just go through the book a little bit. So let's dive in. Okay, you guys, so let's jump in here. This is Advanced Planetary Magic. So if you have not did Planetary Magic, you don't have any comprehension of Planetary Magic, you probably want to go look that up before you see this video. But I'm probably going to do some more book reviews about planetary astrology and planetary magic going forth because I've never talked about it on this channel. And when you get into your spiritual practices, whether it's hoodoo or something else, you're going to come to this. This is going to be very important. You know, yes, learning your Psalms are really good to learn in hoodoo, but any practitioner who's seasoned who is going to they're going to tell you it's important that you be able to interpret the Psalms for yourself and that you understand the way you are using it in your work. So the same psalm I use may not be the same psalm you use for the same work. You might use something different. That's why it's important for people not to really interpret the scripture for you, but for you to read it and gain your own comprehension of yourself. Now you can do it with the group and you guys can look at things from a different perspective, but ultimately no one can tell you how to interpret those psalms. Now that I said that, let's get that we got that out of the way. Let's move forward. Now, what I like about this book that I thought that was intriguing, that he has these seals here that are almost like the original seals, but these have more curves in them. And so there's 64 pages in this book. It's a short read. And he talks about the 7 wonders, the 7 vows, the 7 seals, and the 49 calls. And the 7 vows that are linked to the planets. And then he talk about these 7 seals, which you've seen the sigils, the seals that are associated with the planets. And you'll see soon why I like this book and why I recommend it. Okay, so let's dive in here. Let's see, not there. Now, I want the 7 wonders, this first chapter. And I was going through a lot of astrology books and I was saying something is missing here. I'm seeing all these planets here. And my spirit guide's like the earth. Earth is not a planet. You think earth is a planet. Earth is not a planet. Earth is an element. It is a dense physical element. Yet you have been taught that earth is a planet, but it is not. That's why you're able to work magic. These planets, luminaries, are helping you bring things into your physical plane. So I thought that's interesting to note. And you're never going to see Earth listed as a planet. We're not going to see how the Earth impacts those planets. But we're always seeing how those planets impact Earth. So that's a little thing that I thought I would throw out there to you. And I thought that was so intriguing. I was like, oh my gosh, they're telling you without telling you that Earth is not a planet. It's never listed as a planet. Okay. So every planet has its own hours. Okay, has its own hours. So when you start working with planets, it's important that you know the hours of these planets. Okay, which they note them here. But in order to find out the hour of the planet in your location, they have so many free websites. You can go to your search bar and type in planetary hours, and it'll come up for your area. And that's another reason why our ancestors were buying the almanacs as well. Okay, they were buying the almanacs because a lot of them was doing this work like this way. Well, not just for planting, but also working with these energies. Okay. So you can look that up for yourself, and each planet has its own intelligence, own day. Okay. And it's like that for like wherever you go, you're going to see these planets, these days represent these planets. Okay. And so you have, like you said, intelligence and spirits. Before introducing the special seals, he needs to talk about the Agrippa's system of intelligence and spirits, because it was these spirits evoked by me that provided the visions of the seals to Matthew Brownlee. So sometimes you'll have these intelligence or spirits that will give you a specific sigil or seal to call on them with. So you'll be in contact with them more rapidly. And I think that's important too. If you haven't read anything about Agrippa's system, if you've done your work with the esoteric and occult knowledge, you've ran into John Dee, you've ran into Thomas Aquinas, you've run into Aleister Crowley, you've ran into these Manly P. Hall, you've ran into these names. Okay. I think it's interesting too, no matter what, all of them talk about the Kabbalah and the interaction with the planets with them. That's important to note too, because you're going to see the Kabbalah come up several times when you get to esoteric and occult knowledge. I'm just so interested in where they got it from, because the Jews seem like they got it out of thin air, but I don't think so. They never give a source. I'm a firm believer that they got it from Kemet, that they got it from Egypt. The Persians assigned magical squares to each of the planets known as Kamias. Each square has a number of boxes that is a square of the number of the planet. The planet Saturn has 3 across, 3 down, making 9, and Luna has 9 across, 9 down, making 81. Each of these boxes in turn fill in with all the numbers in the square so they can add up to the same number, whatever the lines across or down. Now, you'll probably be using these to make your intentions, to write down your intentions. People use these squares for different things, messages to the planet, messages to the spirit. So you'll see that as you start to understand sigils and seals. Okay, you'll get into geometria. That's basically what that is. And like I said, this is advanced, so I'm not going to go into geometria in this right now. But if those of you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so you have other planetary attributes. The planets also have different metals assigned to them. You got lead for Saturn, tin for Jupiter, iron for Mars, gold for Sun, copper for Venus, Mercury for Mercury, and silver for Moon. Okay? And you'll see that how we represent it here with colors. You'll see most judges, which is about limitation, discipline, restriction, they wear black robes. Jupiter is for money, and it is not represented by green, it is represented by blue. That's for expansion, abundance, prosperity. Okay, then you have Mars. Mars is red. That is like aggressive planet. That planet is good for like that competitive energy, battle energy, war energy, competition energy, good for business. Then you have the sun represented by yellow. That's a good time to, do any type of work for happiness, for healing, things of that. And you can use the sun for practically that energy for a lot of good things. So I'm just naming a few here. So you have green, it represents Venus. What is Venus? Love. It is not pink. You have green represented by the heart, Venus, love. And that's usually going to be on Friday. Then you have Mercury is represented by orange. Okay. Yet we here you see us representing Mercury energy, which is Wednesday, by blue for communication. So you see how that kind of varies a little bit. And see you have silver or gray for the moon. The archangels, Sumerian gods, scents, shapes, and so on all have planetary correspondences. You're hearing it here. So when you're working with these different shapes, when you're working with these different scents, these different entities or whatever, these planets or whatever, they have different archangel Sumerian gods, scents and shapes, colors, as you see, assigned to them. And when you're setting up your table, your altar, it is good to know this. And then they have vowels. They have vowels. Each planet has vowels here. Okay, you see the vowels here? And I think this has been adjusted just from looking at the alpha as father, because we know everything started off divine feminine. And the author mentions that this has been adjusted as well. So you see the vowels here represented by each planet. Now, he says that he vibrates these vowels to really attune himself. But another way that I use this, not specifically the vowels, but I use the middle pillar exercise to attune my energy and my chakras. So if you're familiar with the esoteric and occult knowledge, you know what the middle pillar is. Okay, so you see it here. He does this comparison here for you. Like I said, it has some valuable information in here. And then you see this star. You're going to see this occult star come up everywhere. First time you see it is in astrology. You're going to see it in your sigils. You're going to see it represent some of the elements. So you're going to see this star a lot. It's called, I think, the harmonic star, and it's been called something else as well. But you're going to see this a lot when you start to study planetary magic and astrology. Now, these are the seals. Like, they still look like the original seals, but they have more curvatures in them. See, it still looks like Mercury. You have the little horns there, but he's added some curves there. And this is Venus. This is the sun, represented by soul. Then you have Mars here. And you have Jupiter. Still looks like Jupiter, just a lot of curves on top of it. And that's Saturn. Still looks like Saturn, but more curves. Okay, so my favorite thing about this book, because I don't want to keep you long here, because it's a short book, just 64 pages. And I will try to leave a link here to the book so you can read this for yourself if you want to. So the 49 calls is what I like about this book. Now, you'll notice, if you're not already working with planetary magic, that some planets are more quicker to respond to you than others. Certain zodiacs will be restricted from working with some planets. That's like me, for instance. I don't work good with Mars. It's not in my zodiac, and I'll show you more about that later. But I won't work with Mars, but I'll work with the sun. I'll work with the moon. And like he's telling you, you can work with the moon at the day of the moon, which is Monday. Monday is moon day. It's Monday at the hour of the moon. So you'll go in your search bar, look up planetary hours, and it's going to tell you what hours the moon are going to be open for you to work with. Okay. Then he goes down here to Mercury of Luna, where you're going to do this at Monday. Say you want to work on some communication, something of that sort. You want to work with Mercury, but your zodiac is just, you're not an air sign. You maybe you're a Taurus. Let's say you're a Taurus, but you want to work with that Mercury. Okay, so but you work well with the moon, Luna. So you can work with Mercury through the day of Monday. So you're going to do it on Monday at the hour of Mercury, and then you will repeat these things here, these invocations here he has here. So I thought that was a neat thing, because sometimes we want to do work, a certain kind of work, and sometimes there could be, some type of timeline or just some restrictions there. And these are other ways that you can get that work done. Okay. I thought, and he gives you, you can work with Venus on Monday, the sun on Monday, and he goes on and on. Tuesday on Monday, the Mars on Monday. So I like this because it gives you options on working with planets. And he says Mercury, well, you would do this Wednesday. The day of Mercury's on Wednesday at the hour of Mercury. You will do this invocation. Then he has Venus. You would do this on Wednesday at the hour of Venus. Again, go to your search bar and look at those planetary hours. So I thought this was really neat, and he does this for every day of the week. He's giving you an invocation where you can call in those particular planets on different days. I thought that was so beneficial. He just goes through here and he tells you. So that is what I liked about this book. I hope you like this book review. It's really short. Like I said, this book is only 64 pages. I think it's good to have around for your workers in case you have to pull it out and you need to go a different direction, so you'll have another way of doing work. But I hope you found this book review helpful. I hope it was insightful, and it gave you some options on how to approach planetary magic, or even give you more information on how you can work with it. Okay? Thanks for being here with me today. Light, love, namaste, ashe, loved one.